What's good, YouTube? This video is going to be about how to tell if a guy likes you or how to tell if a guy cares for you and is taking you seriously. Too often women don't know when to start playing hard to get and when to start opening up to a guy. They don't know when to let their guards down, so they often do more damage to their relationships as they start to blossom, simply because they still continue to treat the guy who's really being serious about them as if he's one of the guys who've disappointed them before. Not being able to tell the difference between a guy who's taking you seriously as a potential partner and a guy who's just having fun with you can ultimately result in you disappointing him more than he's disappointed you. And you missing that opportunity at a decent guy, the one you've been hoping for or praying for. So that's what we're going to talk about today, but before we do, I'd like to tell you about today's sponsor, Aspiration. I always talk about how important it is to stand for something, mainly for women and men. But sometimes we're so passionate about our beliefs and our convictions that it's hard to find companies and institutions that actually have business practices that are in line with our personal beliefs. Especially financial institutions, which usually take all of our savings and loan money to bigger industries who we either disagree with or who damage our way of life. For instance, as a black man, I don't like that my bank invests in private prisons, an industry that literally incentivizes the unfair and the quota-style policing in black and brown communities. And to be honest, I actually do care about the rainforest and wish that these giant companies wiping them all out in the name of capitalism did as well. With that said, Aspiration is a financial institution that cares about its impact on the environment and the world as well. They don't even do business in harmful industries like fossil fuel companies that pollute the air and degrade the earth's soil, or the private prison industry that systematically oppresses minority communities, or the tobacco industry, who we all know kills on a very daily basis. They just don't do business with environmentally and socially irresponsible industries, and that's something I can get behind. They also have no mandatory fees or even overdraft charges. You know, the poor tax that banks generally charge people for being broke. Did you know banks made $11.7 billion in overdraft charges in 2019? Predominantly from people who didn't have money, from people who were broke. That's ridiculous. But now you can help people and the environment by changing where you deposit and spend your money. Aspiration is the only financial firm that commits to donating 10% of its earnings. And on top of all that, Aspiration's Plant Your Change community has already committed to planting over 3 million trees. Their program Plant Your Change allows the people who want to, who opt in, to plant a tree with every purchase they make by rounding their purchase up to the nearest dollar. Aspiration also helps people spend sustainably with their personal impact score, and programs like the Conscious Coalition that offer unlimited cash back with mission-aligned merchants. I mean, damn, even the ATM card is made out of recycled ocean plastic, and the ATMs are free worldwide. To join Aspiration, just visit https://joinaspiration/kev. That's joinaspiration/kev and start making your positive impact today. Now on to this topic. The first sign that a man is taking you seriously, or the sign that a man is really starting to care about you, is he's patient with you. He understands the inconvenience of a relationship. He understands that it takes a lot of patience and a lot of endurance. He's not expecting you or requiring you to be perfect. Too often women are with a guy and they're on a very, very short leash. And they're asking me, does this guy like me? Can you tell from what I say? Does he care about me? And all I see is judgment, criticism. All I see is them running into new walls that he puts up every day. If a guy hasn't given you enough leeway to be imperfect, to be who you are, if you have to be in character every day, all day, if you have to assimilate to 100% of his system without really operating in your natural self, it's likely he really doesn't care about you, or he's creating you to be a subordinate. He's training you. It's likely he's probably also a narcissist if he's really rigid, so you want to be careful about that. But a man who lacks patience with a woman either doesn't take her seriously or takes himself too seriously. Neither of those are good. So never put yourself in a position where you're trying to figure out how to fit yourself into a man's tiny box that he puts you in. And a lot of you who don't have that problem, but the equal problem and the opposite problem of putting a man in a tiny box and being too rigid about him, always looking for a way out, being very flighty. When a person's impatient with you, it's an indication that they're not really committed to the process of getting to know you throughout the inconveniences that may occur. If you notice a man is incapable of being disappointed and moving through the conflicts that happen and occur naturally in a relationship that's budding, understand that he might not have the same use for a woman in his life as you would like to be applied to you. You might not fill the shoes that he's hoping to fill. We always hear that saying, if the shoe fits, wear it. Well, if the shoe doesn't fit, get the hell out of there. Because an impatient man is going to be a terrible spouse when they get bored with you if they're already irritated and you're still in the honeymoon stages. If they already don't accept anything you bring and you're still in the new, fresh, sparky stages. With that said, moving on, the second sign that a man is taking you seriously, the second sign he likes you and he's moving forward seriously is he puts the growth of the relationship over his ego. Too often, men and women are protecting themselves from every new phase in a relationship. They can't really get any enjoyment out of getting to know each other because they're so ridden with anxiety and fear. All they're doing is protecting their pride, jockeying for position, playing games of power, who's going to win, who's got the leverage, all of these things. When you start to see a man let down that guard, when you start to see a man stop worrying so much about the leverage that he might have in a relationship, it's a clear indicator that he's taking you very seriously. When a man no longer wants to win your relationship, but he wants to grow, you're headed in the right place. Anytime you see a man so attached and so married to his ego and the air of it, anytime you see a guy that seems to be competing for who can have the most leverage and who can have the most impact on each person, it's a bad sign. It's a bad sign that you're either dealing with a narcissist or you're dealing with a guy who just doesn't understand what a woman's function is supposed to be in his life, and he might have an immature idea of what a relationship is supposed to function like. As two people grow to trust each other, as two people grow to a place that they understand who each other could be to them, and they're taking that seriously, they start to put their egos down and focus on the growth of their team. The team matters more than the ego. The relationship matters more than the win. When you see a guy who won't put down his pride in any moment to just have a genuine, open, transparent, honest moment with you, when you see a guy who's refusing to be vulnerable at all costs, but who also wants vulnerability from you, again, you're dealing with a man who doesn't understand the function of a woman in a healthy relationship and has some maturing to do. So if he lacks patience and he's not enduring, and he also is putting his ego first, he's not the guy. But if you get a guy who can lose leverage and lose those moments and still keep coming forward, still continue to persist, it's because he's taking you seriously. It's because he's letting his guard down. And when a guy starts to trust you and let his guard down, when he starts to protect the union more than he protects his ego, it's a really good sign that he's taking you seriously and he's seeing value in you that supersedes anything that he's gotten from a cheaper relationship. That's not to say that he lets you run all over him and destroy his ego or create damage. What it is to say is that he's patient with you and he understands that you will do things that he doesn't like. But his fear of damaged pride isn't making his decisions at that point. He's seen someone worth fighting for, worth enduring for, and worth being patient with. He's okay with the inconvenience of a relationship if it leads to you, because you are worth more than those inconveniences. He understands that sometimes to win, you really lose, and sometimes to lose, you really win. This is what a relationship is about. A healthy one, compromise. A man who puts his ego down is willing to compromise with you. Compromise is one of the single biggest indicators that a man is taking you seriously. Men who are rigid, who are unmoving, who don't compromise, who don't give a damn about what you think ever at all, don't give a damn about what you want to do, how you feel, those men aren't taking you seriously. They're likely using you. But a man who's willing to compromise, a man who's willing to be patient with you, a man who's coming forward despite the inconveniences that happen in a budding relationship, he's taking you seriously. Those moments of protecting himself are fewer and far between. You don't see him guarding himself against you or fighting you or being combative emotionally. You see him trying to join you in the middle, trying to find a common ground, trying to be eye to eye, being more agreeable and less rigid, worried less about the air of his masculinity and more about how his actions affect you. The patient, enduring, compromising man is taking you seriously. I know I've meshed them all together. I don't even care about the list anymore. It might be 3. I think it's 3. But these are the signs that a man is caring about you and starting to take you more seriously than he has or than other men have. A patient, enduring, long-suffering attitude toward the hills and valleys of a relationship are the single biggest indicator that a man is taking you seriously, when he can put down his ego, when he can lose in the moments, when he can compromise things that he would otherwise not want to, when he cares about his impact on you. That's when a man is taking you seriously. I know I kept it simple today, but sometimes we need to get back to the basics. Things aren't as complicated as we make them. How does a man treat you? Does he care how he impacts you? And is he learning to trust? Is he showing signs of trust over time by releasing some of those guards? Anyway, I hope that helps. That's all I got for now. Follow me at KFake24 on Instagram. If you're interested, please go check out Aspiration. It's a financially and socially and environmentally responsible financial institution. So if you do have deeply held convictions and beliefs about the way things should be done, go check them out. Go see their mission statement. They might be in alignment with what you already believe, and it might be a good place to keep your money. Anyway, as I said before, that's all I got for now. I'll get with y'all later.